Hello, I am Martin Nyanzu, and this is the Unsettled Podcast, a podcast for those who are looking for answers. In today's episode, we will be discussing the topic of transcending and how, in the end, we all transcend. Is religion our problem? Is there anyone in this world who is purely secular? Are there certain qualities found in all humans? Why is it so? And what does it say about our human nature? What does it mean to be transcendent? Something is transcendent if it goes above or beyond a person's immediate level of consciousness. However, the person may be aware that what is above their consciousness is there or is real. It can be real, it can be there, and the person is transcendent. Something is transcendent if there is more to it than what meets our eye or than what we see. It is that more we are all seeking. So in the end, everybody is on a search. Everybody is seeking. That's why Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. That more is what we are all seeking. And that more is the beyond of the beyond. There are certain features, qualities, or characteristics that are common to all men. It is these characteristics that makes us go beyond ourselves, even if it means losing our lives in some cases. Let's look at some of these that are common to all of mankind. Number one, all of us want to improve on our condition. All men everywhere realize that there is something wrong with the human race. For this reason, there is this feeling inside of us to do something about it. There is the desire in every human to seek some kind of a comforter who has the ability to do something about our current condition. Eventually, this becomes our ultimate concern. The fact that we need a helper, the fact that there's something wrong with us, the fact that some things are not right, consumes us, and seeking for solutions captivate our hearts. And that becomes our ultimate concern. This ultimate concern unites our personality. That is what binds our being. It makes us human. The ultimate concern we have in this life may vary from time to time and even from people to people. However, my point is this: there will always be an ultimate concern. Any human being without an ultimate concern ceases to be human. This ultimate concern causes us to realize our weaknesses. Now, the second thing is this: seeking for ideals. We are all seeking for what is ideal. Most people in the world have made up their minds to love others. Even the notorious criminal or the wickedest person wants to be loved. Loving your wife or husband, your children or friends, causes you to go beyond yourself. When we love, we attempt to transcend all the hate in the world. We love and desire to be loved. This is the condition that is common to all of mankind. This condition goes beyond and above any one of us. We cannot help but to seek for it. If we are not loving, we are hating. We seek for justice all the time. It is a common human experience we all go through Why do we all go through this? We go through this because there is something that goes beyond us. We can't help it but to seek. We become angry, we become frustrated when justice is not served. Our Creator has given us these commonalities for a purpose. The third thing that is common to all humankind, all of humankind all over the world, is that we like taking stock of our lives. The last time I checked, animals do not take stock of their lives, but we do from time to time. We sit in our cars. Sometimes we go to work, we take a break, we sit in the car. Sometimes we're in our rooms. Sometimes we withdraw from our friends and our family in secrecy and begin to reflect and think. This experience is common to all humans. When we take stock, we ask ourselves questions in the process of taking stock. Most of the time, we realize that we don't have the answers. If our reflection is centered on an issue of justice, we immediately realize our weaknesses and state of our powerlessness, especially when we realize that nothing is being done about the issue upon which we reflect. And we feel this tug in us that something must be done. But who is to do it? That is the point. We have this feeling of transcendency. We feel within us that there is something higher and above us, to the extent that if one of us will not offer justice or do something about it, we are expecting someone to do something about it. Sometimes, while we are taking stock, we talk to ourselves the whole time. And I'm sure as you listen to me, you can relate. You've been at that point in life where you sat all by yourself, asking yourself questions, talking to yourself, as if you've lost your mind. You're not alone. All humans, all over the world, from generation to generation, throughout the human race, have had this common experience. It is typical of all human beings. This is a common human experience. We crave for something greater in these moments, in our quiet times, in our moments of reflections, when something is on our mind and we are trying to find for answers. In those moments, we are always craving for something greater. We transcend ourselves when we go through these moments. For some, they come to the breaking point and would cry or burst out into laughter, depending on what they are dealing with. Have you spoken to anyone who told you, I just started crying or weeping or even laughing after thinking or reflecting or going into my solitary space? And they'll tell you that I didn't even know why I was crying. I didn't even know why I burst into laughter. That is the point. We all transcend. And sometimes when we get into these sacred spaces, we don't even know why we react a certain way, why we cry, why we weep, why we burst into laughter or tears of joy. Unbelievers and believers go through these experiences. We transcend ourselves in sadness and transcend ourselves in joyful moments. When we are sad, we realize we are weak. When we are happy, we realize that we have come to the ultimate of our lives. We feel so empowered that even some of us become like gods. We all do transcend. Now, our ability to transcend is what drives us towards religion. So to the person who says, I'm irreligious, I don't believe in religion, whether you believe in it or not, whether you know what you're talking about or not, the fact is that inside of every human being is that capacity, is that nature to transcend, going above and beyond yourself. These commonalities I've just spoken about, or I've just shared with us, pulls us towards religion. Within those commonalities, we see our strengths and weaknesses that makes us seek divine power. It is the tension of our strength and our weaknesses, especially when we are weak, especially when we are down, especially when we have lost a loved one, that drive us into seeking for something greater. The various ways we transcend ourselves is what makes us pursue different pathways in seeking solutions. And that is why all over the world, we are about 8 billion people now. Majority of us, at least if I'm not afraid to say, more than 90% of us, at least 90% of us are religious. We are seeking for something supernatural. Only a few, an insignificant number of us compared to the 8 billion are denying the fact that there is a supernatural power or there is God. Even though we are all seeking for this divine power through different means. Some are Christians, some are Buddhists, some belong to all kinds of faith. But that is not my point. My point is this, that due to these commonalities, majority of us all over the world have a sense of this divine being, divine authority, divine power. Because innate in us is the ability to go beyond ourselves and transcend. Now, in these commonalities, in these experiences that is common to all men, within them comes out religion. Within our common traits, within these things that we share, comes out religion. There is always a gap between our own problems and our ability to solve them. Humans are strong, but we are weak at the same time. We're happy today, and tomorrow we're sad. Historically, it has been harder to destroy religion than for people to become religious. In other words, it is easier for people to become religious than for religion to be removed from society. Because of these human traits I have just shared with us. They are part of our common human experience. If you go to China, or if you go to Russia, and even other countries that have tried in the past to suppress religious activities, the more they try to suppress, the more these religious activities keep rising. Humans have a strong capacity to be religious. Humans are naturally religious or by nature religious. Now let's take a look at our human nature. The nature of man is that man has capacity. Man has limitations. Man can think and is curious and will seek what is there instead of what is not. Man has imaginations. Now, sometimes when we are by ourselves, whether we're happy or sad, our mind begin to wander. We begin to imagine. This is not something some people are making up. We all have imaginations. And imaginations is part of our curiosity. And all these things drive us to become religious. Religious people engage in practices they think will help them align with supernatural powers. Because they believe in doing so, it will always take away curses, or at least they believe that aligning with supernatural powers take away curses, problems, bring blessings, among other things. People are religious and have these desires because it is in their nature. They are not making these things up. Characteristics shared by all humans become their nature. So when you travel from continent to continent, country to country, state to state, cottage to cottage, you realize that people have these things common to them. So sometimes we even tell ourselves, don't worry, you're not alone. We feel the same thing. We go through the same thing. We have the same common experience. Non-religious people have what it takes to be religious, like every one of us. They have the commonalities it takes and the natural tendencies towards religion, but make claims that they are irreligious for a few reasons. One, maybe they have not had the experiences in life that kicks those innate tendencies and commonalities into motion. Or those experiences that is common to all men have been activated in non-religious people, but they have allowed something else, such as false teachings or the behavior of other people in the church, outside the church, to shut it. That is why in the book of Romans 1:20, it says that for since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal powers and divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that people are without excuse. So you see, all men, all women, everywhere, all over the world, the divine nature of God, his power and his invisible qualities has been revealed to all men, so we are without excuse. You can either embrace it, acknowledge it, recognize it, realize it, or subdue it. But you cannot say you don't have the tendency to become religious or that you are not a spiritual being. That we are all spiritual beings is what drives us to religion. Proverbs 13:19. A longing fulfilled is sweet to the soul, but fools detest turning from evil. All I'm trying to say is this. There is a longing lurking in every human heart. It can only be fulfilled when we transcend in connecting to our Creator. And I hope that as you listen to me, you know the things I've shared with you are true because you are human. And you have this innate transcendent capabilities in you. If you don't seek after the Judeo-Christian God, you'll find something else to fill that vacuum. Because your Creator created you to have this vacuum, this longing that ought to be fulfilled. And once you find the right fulfillment, you find a release for your soul. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Unsettled Podcast. Remember to join us next time as I'm joined by my friend John Keith for a discussion on being spiritual but not religious. Remember to subscribe and follow us on social media. This podcast is available on all platforms, on YouTube and on our website, liveunsettled.org. I am Martin Nyanzu. Until next time, God bless you.